I'm Richard Nelson, and I fished here out of Friendship Harbor, and fished for many years. I'm retired now. There's some important things for you to know about this environment here around Friendship, in that this is a very small community. It's made up of maybe 1,100 people, full-time people. And out of that number, there's almost 300 commercial fishing licenses. So when you think of that, that's an astronomical percentage of people in this town that live off this environment, live off the natural resources of the ocean here. And we also have two boat shops and also a trap manufacturer too. So you get that idea. The whole economy of this town is based on the natural resources of the ocean and preserving them and having them available to us, and having that access to the ocean also is important to us. We've got a culture and a history here, and this has gone on for generations. And that has to be recognized, and we would want to see that that's passed on to the next generation. And somehow, in order to do that, we've got to protect what's going on here, what goes on with the environment and those resources that we're reliant on. As fishermen, we have a history of managing our fisheries here in the lobster fishery with very concepts of conservation, as far as restricting our own take of lobsters with size, with the number of traps, with releasing female egg-bearing lobsters, and a whole number of things. But suddenly, within the last few years, we've got on very happily doing that for years, and sort of this self-managed sort of proposition. As of late, though, we can't really rely on that. Things beyond our control are happening through different policy and energy policy and government policy. We're faced now with climate change and the addition of other people who want to use these waters, other industries, as far as corporate aquaculture and things of that nature. So we're left here as such, without being able to necessarily help and guide ourselves. This is where my concept of the pine tree amendment comes in. I worked for years on ocean planning, and what I've witnessed over the years is that when new policy comes down, new projects and things like that, there's a tendency to give lip service to inclusivity and to sort of, quote, seat at the table for fishermen. And what I've seen, though, is this never really pans out. It never really happens as people say it will happen, and you're left with decisions made on different projects and different directions to go, that the decision comes first, and then we're asked to manage our way around coping with the results of that decision. And this is kind of backwards, always been backwards to it. And we've never had recourse to these, to another aspect of giving voice to how we feel about these things. So this is where I think the Pine Tree Amendment can come in, give people in these small communities, whether it's Friendship and fishing or other communities in Maine involved in forestry, farming, or whatever, they need a voice to control their destiny as far as their own resources and how it affects their own culture, their own economy, and as a whole, it's the economy of the whole state of Maine, because it reaches out throughout the whole thing. What happens here is going to affect the tourist industry, restaurant industry, etc. So we have that need for a voice, and this is what's answered by the I hope would be answered by the Pine Tree Amendment.